Hey everybody, my name is Savannah Sanchez. Today I'm going to be going over how to make the best ad creatives on the internet for selling stuff online. So let's dive right into the content. So a bit of background around me. So I come from an agency background. I used to work on some of the largest e-commerce brands like ColourPop, Love Wellness, APL, just to name a few, where I would run their media buying strategies on Facebook, Snapchat, and Google, as well as give ad creative advice and direction to our designers. So that's really where I found my passion, is helping e-commerce brands with their ad creative strategies and how to leverage ad creative in order to get better results online for their advertising. So here's just a few brands that I've worked with recently on their ad creatives, and I'm so excited to show you all the top tips and tricks I've learned from working with these brands. So a bit about what I'm up to now. If you guys can see, there you go, the video just started playing. So right now I'm consulting a handful of e-commerce brands on their ad creatives, working under the name The Social Savannah. So I'm a consultant for ad creatives and wanted to show you guys some examples of the type of ads that I make for my clients on a weekly basis. So lots of animations, graphics, everything I do is around these mobile first principles of getting attention in the first 3 seconds, showing the product really quickly, and then having a strong call to action. And of course, just being overall thumb stopping in the feed. So I'll be diving into all of these principles today, but just wanted to start off with some examples of some ads that I've made that I'm a bit proud of. Alrighty, so here is a fun stat to get us started. The fastest growing advertisers test 11 times more creative, and that contributed to 3x more revenue growth in 2019. So this is a stat that is straight from Facebook, and essentially what this means is that if you want to win with your advertising on Facebook, you really should be focused on your creative. So like I mentioned, I've been media buying for many years now, and let's just say back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like 2018 and before, media buying was all about like hacking your way to success. And what I mean by that is that you can basically throw any creative up there on Facebook, just like a product on white. And because there wasn't that many advertisers in the market on Facebook ads, and it wasn't as competitive, you can really hack your way to success by these like manual bidding strategies, by audience segmentation. That was really like the popular thing to do back then. But in the last year and a half, I would say, especially in particular in 2019 and 2020 now, Facebook's really been pushing advertisers to embrace the methodology that it's not about these manual hacks anymore of chopping up your audiences and these manual bidding strategies. It's all about your creative. You can leverage broad audiences, a very simplified structure on Facebook, but achieve success if you have a lot of heavy creative rotation and you're following mobile first practices and you're always testing. So I think this is a testament to this fact that if you want to grow on Facebook, it's not about this manual hacking your way through media buying. It's about how can I creative test more effectively and as fast as possible. Volume is really important with creative testing on Facebook. It's not about being perfect. It's not about coming up with the perfect ad every time. What's great is that you can throw up 10 variations a week, and Facebook will tell you which ones are working the best. You'll see in your results which ones are getting the most clicks, which ones are getting the most results on your website. So the key is to be very fast and to put out a lot of volume and see what sticks. So this is the new methodology of how to scale on Facebook ads: is creativity, which is ingredient number 1, scale, so throwing some budget behind that, equals fire. So creative, I would say, is such a huge ingredient into whether brands are succeeding with their online advertising. Of course, the website is important, your offer is important, your customer experience is so important, but it all starts with creativity. That's the first touch point that people have with your brand, is when they see your ad online, when they're scrolling through your friend's stuff, are they going to stop in the feed for half a second and watch your video? And if you can hook them in that first 3 seconds and get them to your site, you might have a customer for life. So it all boils back to, how can I be creative to get someone's attention as fast as possible in the feed? So another fun stat is 78% of all mobile data traffic will be video in 2020. So if you guys don't know this already, video is exploding. So back in the day, and again, back in the day is like 2 years ago, static images were really popular for online advertising. So people would just put up images of like their clothes or like a product shot. But now people are demanding more video content. They're not interacting with static images nearly as much as they were in the past, and especially for mobile. So in comparison to desktop, mobile viewers are very heavy on consuming mobile content. So you want to make sure that in your online advertising, you're following these mobile first video principles, which I'm going to dive through today. So mobile is very different than other touch points. So if you're used to designing for desktop, which is like more of like a horizontal video, or for TV even, mobile first advertising is completely different. You have to throw some of the methodology that you may have used in the past out the window. So the first thing is that it's frequent. And what I mean by that is that people are being bombarded with mobile advertising all day long when they're scrolling through their feed. So people are very used to seeing what ads look like. They're quick at identifying, okay, this is an ad, not my friends. I'm going to scroll right past it. So this is a very frequent interaction that you're having with people. So that's why it's important to grab attention really quickly and to stand out from the noise, because people are just bombarded with ads on mobile. Secondly, it's sound off. And this is extremely different than, let's just say, on traditional advertising, like on TV, where it's a sound on experience. 80% of mobile videos on Facebook are viewed with sound off, which means that people need to know what you're selling and what your main value propositions are without sound. So what that means is that you need to have captions. Captions are extremely important, and text on screen preferably. So you can have text swiping in the first 3 seconds saying like the original super thin case, like the examples I showed earlier, and having a really clear call to action in text. So copy is really important on screen, and captions, because people are viewing this with sound off. Often people are at work or traveling or commuting. Maybe not so much in COVID-19 season. I would be really interested in seeing the 2020 data if sound on has been more popular now that people are home more and they can consume content on their phone with sound as opposed to commuting or at work. So that'll be an interesting data point when that data comes out, but always think about designing for sound off first. And thirdly, it's fast. And this goes again to the same principle that you have to capture attention quickly. Most video ads that I make are 15 seconds or less. That's really the sweet spot. And what's crazy is that we usually see that the drop off is around at the 2 or 3 second mark. So someone is only watching the video for 2 or 3 seconds before they either decide to scroll right past or to click to your website. So you can't have these long stories all drawn out about how wonderful your brand is. I'm sure you guys have wonderful brand videos that have great use maybe on your website or for other purposes. But for mobile first advertising, it's all about just delivering your message as fast as possible. So that is the major key, is how can I get my message across in the first 3 seconds? So this is another interesting stat. Content is consumed differently on mobile. Attention is no longer a passive activity. So again, there's such a sea of noise on mobile advertising. You really have to stand out and grab attention. And then this is just another finding about the importance of video advertising and the comparison against static images. So like I mentioned, there's been a huge shift over the last couple years from static to video first. So this is a stat from Facebook that people gaze 5 times longer at videos than static images on Facebook and Instagram. And video content is driving the highest levels of engagement. So if you're not using video already, I hope that these stats are enough to get you to start investing in some video content. Something I do want to mention is that sometimes advertisers, especially smaller advertisers, are the ones that either don't have video content already, or they're afraid of making video content because they're worried it's going to be so expensive. What if it doesn't work? It's kind of a long, big process, or it has been in the past, to make video content as opposed to images. Well, I would say in the last few years that has also changed dramatically. What I've seen for ads is that you can literally shoot something with your iPhone and have that be your best performing ad in your ad account. I know this because I have done this multiple times. That I shoot a lot of UGC or user generated content of me like selfie style, or I'm just filming the product like an unboxing experience with my iPhone. It's not even an iPhone 11 Pro. I have an iPhone 11 I have an iPhone 8. So the quality is not even amazing. So with the power of the iPhone or your nice Android phone, you can make video content cheap, quickly, and it can be really effective. So one thing I really like about kind of this native feeling video content is that, again, it doesn't look like an ad. When people are scrolling through their Instagram stories, for that split second, they might think, this is not an ad, this is just my friend filming a cool product that she had, or an influencer I follow. So it's all about almost tricking people for that half a second. Is this an ad, is it not? And filming things on your phone is a really great way to do that. So there's no excuse to not have videos in your ad account. Cool. So let's go back to what I was saying about traditional storytelling versus on mobile. So if you're thinking about a TV commercial, so the way that TV commercials are designed is that typically the main message is at the end of the 30-second mark. So it's this long build up, a story, maybe someone is, I don't know, like a Corona on the beach, they're finding their beach, whatever it is, you know. You can think of a million different TV commercials where the main message is at the end. That's where the call to action is. You just watch this nice long story with sound on. So this is kind of the old way of doing things. Now, how things are done on mobile video is exactly the opposite. You want your main message at the front. So in the first 3 seconds, attention on mobile should be rewarded early, giving people a reason to pay attention. So the way I like to think about it is that every second that someone watches your video past the first 3 seconds, you have to earn. So when someone scrolls, you initially have to get them to stop and get them to pay attention and show your main message of why they should continue to work or continue to watch. And then every second later that they watch until that 30-second mark, you need to keep on earning it because they can so quickly just scroll past you and get to their friends' content. So you have to make the video interesting and worth the watch. So you can see how steep the drop off is. By 10 seconds, people are already gone. Most people are already gone. It's going to be very rare that someone watches a full 30 seconds of your video. They're making that judgment very, very early. So let's just quickly review some of the main takeaways for video mobile first creative. So capturing attention quickly. Start with your most captivating elements, incorporate brand identity early, hook people with the most engaging content, and choose attention-grabbing video thumbnails. I think thumbnails is one of the most underrated strategies that marketers don't think about. The thumbnail of your video is the first thing people are going to see when they come across your video, and you can upload any custom thumbnail. Usually it's like a screenshot from the video with some text on top. But testing different thumbnails can make a huge difference in performance. So wanted to throw that one out there. Length, also very important. We're challenging advertisers to create short form content videos, less than 15 seconds with the main message in the first 3 to 5 seconds. It's crazy how many advertisers don't follow these basic principles. I'm going to show a couple examples in a bit. Even though these might seem really basic and I'm kind of hammering these points on, they're so important, and so many advertisers aren't following the basics, and then they wonder why aren't my ads working? Why aren't people clicking to my site? Well, how long is your video? Is your main message in the first 3 seconds? Are you grabbing attention quickly? What's your thumbnail? What is your hook in the first 3 seconds? This is what you should be focusing all of your time on. Focus less on what the story is for your video or what you want your brand persona to be. For mobile advertising, at least for all of my focus, I'm thinking about how can I grab attention in those first 3 seconds and hook people in. That should be where you are putting all of your creative brain power and juices. And it's definitely harder than it seems, so not discounting that. Design for sound off. Use visual storytelling. Try adding text on screen to tell the story. Use sound to delight instead of inform, and add captions. This is key. So sound to delight, I think that's also a good thing to mention, is that you definitely do want sound. Like if people do choose to watch your video with sound on, it's always nice to have some music, maybe some people like a voiceover in the background. So we like to say like delight with sound on. So don't make it so that people have to watch it with sound on, but if they do have sound on, then it's just an extra delight. They get some nice little music or some additional information in the voiceover. Framing. So as compared to desktop or like YouTube ads or TV ads, mobile first advertising for Facebook and Instagram is all about square. You want to be designing for 1x1 dimensions first, and then secondly, you also want to be designing for vertical. So for IG stories placements, that's a 9x16 formatted ad. So when you're filming content, always think of, can this be reformatted to square? And can I reformat this to vertical? Those are the two kind of dimensions that you need to have on the front of your mind. And then lastly, this one's probably my favorite, play more. Playing more, creating more content, and learning quickly are the best way to ensure success. So this goes again back to speed. Creating ads with speed is so important. Not being afraid to test something new, picking up your iPhone, making a ton of new variations just of what you can film in your house. The more you can test, if you can test 11 times faster than other advertisers, like I said in that last stat, then you can potentially see 3 times better returns. So don't try to be perfect, just get the content out there and Facebook will tell you what's working, and then you can double down quickly on what is working. So now that you guys know the mobile first principles, I wanted to again show you some of the ads I've done for my clients where I try to incorporate what we just talked about. So as you can see in the first 3 seconds of these videos, I have text on screen. I'm showing what the product is in use. I'm showing the best value props of the video. These are all really important to grab attention. And as you notice, these are all either filmed in vertical or in square. So that's how you want to be thinking about this. And these are a bunch of different ad types. So that's also a big key, is that you don't want to just test one type of ad. So on some of these it's more like visual focus with GIFs and text on the screen. Others more UGC feeling or user generated content. So as you can see, we want to test a lot of different type of ads as well. It's not just about creating one singular ad and seeing how it does. Different people are going to respond to different types of creatives. So you want to kind of have a really large variety of creatives in your ad account, just like on here. So now that you know the creative do's, I'm going to go over some creative don'ts. Avoid common ad mistakes. Learn the golden rules. So like I mentioned, even though these principles seem pretty basic, they're not always applied even by some of the top advertisers. So I found these advertisers just from scrolling through my own feed and took some screenshots of ads that I think maybe would benefit from watching this presentation. Then they can learn some of these mobile first principles. So let's start with this brand, Wild Earth. I'm gonna play the video. I hope it's showing okay. It might be a little bit lagged, but that's okay. So in this video, it's kind of like this long form story. I don't even know what's happening. I think that's the first thing. You need to know what's happening with sound off, and you need to know what's happening in the first 3 seconds. So with this guy, not only was he just like in his kitchen cooking something, but now he's talking and I have no idea what he's saying. It's completely silent. And the reason why is because they don't have captions. So I might be able to understand what he's saying or want to buy if he simply added captions to this video and getting to the point in the first 3 seconds. So this ad, I think, missed the mark on that front. If I was to redo this ad, I would mention the dog food and have captions and show the dog food on screen within the first 3 seconds. I'm going to try playing this again in case people missed the beginning of this. So it starts with a faucet running water and he's like making a coffee or boiling something. So am I thinking, are we selling a coffee maker? Okay, here's a dog, and now we have a guy pointing to a bag. Overall, I'm just confused. It's really important just to be straightforward and to the point with your advertising, because like you said, you only have 3 seconds to gather attention. And in those first 3 seconds, I thought this ad might be for coffee. And I still don't really know what it's about, but he is trying to sell dog food. But I think this ad missed the mark on that front. Always have captions, get to the point in the first 3 seconds. Alrighty, let's watch another ad. So this is one that I think does this really well. So for this ad, he has captions on the ad. He's showing the upright trainer. You can easily see what it is in the first 3 seconds, which is so important. So even though the video might be lagging a bit and slow, you can still follow along with the story because they have text on the screen. And you know it's an upright trainer because it showed it on his back in the first 3 seconds in a demo of what it is. So this brand is using those mobile first principles of having captions and getting to the point in the first 3 seconds. It's framed for 1 by 1. And I also like that they include a lot of different customer testimonials in this. So you can see multiple people talking about the product, which I've seen work really well in ads. We call it like a user-generated content mashable ad because we're mashing all of these different user-generated contents together. So love this ad. This is a great example of how to incorporate text on screen to show your message and how to demonstrate your product within the first 3 seconds so that you can get the best results for your ad dollars. Alrighty, let's watch another sad ad. I'm sorry to this brand, Baboon to the Moon, but this ad did not cut it for me at all. So in this ad, first of all, they're selling this bag. I only know that because I went to the website to find out. But if I just saw this ad, I'm just really confused at what's happening. I think it's like a gremlin lion flying on a bat, and he's going through a grocery store. I'm gonna play that again. So if you watch what happens, yeah, he's like flying through a grocery store. So my first thought is kind of sinister, but I'm like, is this lion trying to steal from this grocery store? Was that why he's walking around with a big duffel bag, trying to fill it up with stuff? I don't really know, but apparently they're trying to sell a bag, and the copy is also not very clear. It says, great for at-home workout tutorials, even better as a supportive neck pillow when lying down. So, like I mentioned, copy is extremely important because not everyone is viewing your videos with sound on. Maybe if this video was of a workout, a home workout, or as a pillow, like as the bag acting as a pillow, I would understand what's going on better. But overall, clear always beats clever. So I think that with this advertiser, they were trying to be too clever with their advertising and be cool and unique. But really, it just didn't hit the mark, because if I'm a consumer and I don't know what this brand is, after reading the caption and some bat tiger thing flying through a grocery store, I still don't know why I should buy this workout bag or even what you're even selling. The headline is also very odd. It says, an interplanetary adventure operation. I do not know what you're selling. So again, creativity, like I mentioned, being creative doesn't always mean you have to be weird or quirky or clever, because sometimes that makes it not very straightforward. It's really important, even when you're being creative with your advertising, to still be really clear and concise and get to the point quickly and show people what your main value props are. And in your text, talk about why your product is so great and your offer and why you should buy. These basic marketing principles still apply for mobile advertising. You don't want to just throw all marketing out the window and come up with something quirky and clever, because often these ads do not do well. Instead, focus that creativity on how to capture attention within the first 3 seconds and get your point across as quickly as possible. So I want to show another example. This one I think does it right. So this brand is called Fabric, and I think this is the perfect combination of both clever and clear. So as you can see, it's a take on a classic meme of like the girl looking at the other guy, and she's looking at the other guy because he's using Fabric. And Fabric is a skincare line for men. And you can really easily see that because it says Fabric, skincare finally simplified. It has the 2 skincare bottles. So I know why she's looking at the guy who's using Fabric. And the caption is also really funny too. It says, we can't make her forget about her ex, but we can make your skin look great. Try us out. So I thought this was so funny. Clear and clever. I can look at this for 3 seconds. I can understand what's being sold. I know what it's talking about. So again, you can be creative, but just like keep it in the realm of like clever and clear. Most importantly, be clear, clever secondary. If you can't be clear, then there's just no point in putting up the ad. Okay, here is another ad that I did not think hit the mark. So if you can see for this ad, it's more of like a long form story. Looks like some girls at Holding Ranch, butylated hydro something. There's a cereal box on a truck and some chocolate. Do you guys know what's going on? Because I don't. And these are just ads I randomly came across on my feed. So it's not like these are, like, I didn't even go and seek for bad ads, as sad as that is. Like, this is what real large advertisers are putting out there for consumers to see. And after watching this ad, I still have no idea what's happening. I have no idea what they're selling. But I think, are they selling this butylated hydro something? I don't know. Maybe if you guys know in the comments, you can let me know. So this goes back to my point about keeping it concise. This is like a 3-minute long video ad. I think about the ingredients that they're using in food, but I don't care. Like, I don't really care about whatever ingredients they're trying to describe. I think that Daily Harvest sells like home delivery smoothies. But I could not tell from this ad. I absolutely could not tell. So they definitely need to keep this more concise and get to the point way quicker. And I want to show an example of Ritual, who is kind of trying to do the same concept. They're explaining the ingredients in their vitamins. They redesign the vitamins, or they're showing why their ingredients are better than competitors and how they help the body. So this ad definitely works so much better, and it's because it's very concise. This ad is still under 30 seconds, as you can see, and it has captions on the screen. It got to the point quickly. It was easy to follow along, unlike the last ad. So trying to keep your message within 30 seconds tops, and then being clear with captions, and just making sure that if someone is coming across your brand for the first time, they know what you're selling. And I think this ad did a good job of that. Alrighty guys, so now you've seen my top tips for creating mobile first video ad creatives, as well as some great ad examples along with some not so great examples. So this should be a really great framework for you to use when you're building out new ads into your ad account. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below. Would love to hear what you guys think of my ad creative tips, and if there's any ad creative tips that you guys use for your own ads. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time.